Some stories aren't just about love. They're about time, distance, silence. They're about the things we inherit without knowing, the stories behind our names, the truths hidden in whispers, and the love that survives even when it's unspoken. This is the story of Amina, a young woman living in Paris, disconnected from her past in the Democratic Republic of Congo. She believes she knows who she is. But one day, everything changes. It starts with a box of unsent letters. Letters from a mother long gone. Letters that carry the scent of memory, regret, and a love that never had its ending. These letters don't just tell a story, they awaken one. One that begins decades ago in Kinshasa and pulls Amina back to the heart of a city she left behind, to a man she never knew, and to a truth that could change everything. This is not a love story. It's a story about love, the kind that lives on in blood, in memory, and in silence. This is Letters from Kinshasa. Amina, 27, lives in a modest apartment in Paris. Raised by her aunt, Maman Louise, after her parents died in a car crash, Amina grew up surrounded by strict routines, traditional meals, and stories wrapped in silence. Maman Louise would wake up before dawn to make cassava bread and peanut stew. On Sundays, she would braid Amina's hair, telling stories of Kinshasa, some funny, some sorrowful. The time she and her sister sold bananas during curfew to pay for school books. How her sister, Amina's mother, once danced in the rain after being accepted into university. How political unrest forced their family to split, one by one. As Amina grew older, Louise became softer, more nostalgic. In her final months, she often called Amina to her side, sharing things she'd never said. Your mother, she had dreams. But dreams are fragile things in our country. One evening, she handed Amina a necklace and whispered, she loved deeply. But she also suffered. Don't be afraid to ask the questions I couldn't answer. Years before Amina was born, her mother was a university student in Kinshasa. She was bright, driven, and passionate about history and justice. One day, at a protest against dictatorship, she met David Kalonji, a young law student with a fiery voice and a quiet soul. He recited poetry in the streets. She carried leaflets in her school bag. Their love grew under the weight of fear. Cafes near the Congo River, midnight walks, stolen kisses during marches. He gave her roses wrapped in pages from banned books. Then came the crackdown. Protest leaders were arrested. David fled underground. Her father arranged for her to leave Congo immediately, first to Belgium, then Paris. She never saw David again. She later learned she was pregnant. But the shame and danger made her keep it secret. After Maman Louise's funeral, Amina began clearing her room. Behind the wardrobe, she discovered an old trunk. Inside, a box of letters, bound with a red ribbon. All addressed to her. The first letter began, "My dearest Amina, if you're reading this, then I am no longer with you." The letters tell her mother's story, how she met David, how she fled, how silence became her only companion. She wrote about dreams never fulfilled, and how she watched Amina grow from afar, too scared to tell the truth. One line haunts Amina, "If love could have saved me, I'd still be holding your hand." Amina starts researching. She contacts old Congolese community members, visits African archives in Paris, and scours library microfilms. She finds articles by David Kalonji in an underground paper called Le Matin de Kinshasa. His words echo her own inner struggle. Even if they silence me, I will live in the hearts of those I love. An elderly man at a Congolese cafe tells her, he was a lion in the courtroom and a poet in the streets. If he had a child, I hope they have his heart. With a one-way ticket and a folder full of letters, Amina lands in Kinshasa. The air is humid, the music loud, the city both foreign and familiar. She stays with Mireille, her cousin who loves to dance and talk, but knows little about the past. Still, she helps Amina search old addresses and connect with elders. One clue leads to another. Amina's journey of discovery deepens. At the university library, Amina meets Patrick, a researcher studying post-independence Congolese movements. Their hands touch while reaching for the same book. Their meetings multiply. A jazz bar where Patrick sings quietly to himself. A museum with photos of activists and writers. Long walks through dusty neighborhoods. They eat makemba and roasted tilapia. He teaches her Lingala phrases. She tells him she's searching for a man named David. But not the whole truth. Not yet. They grow closer. There's a spark, but it's gentle, uncertain. An old seamstress recognizes Amina. Your mother loved a man with lion eyes, she says, handing Amina a faded photo of her mother with David. Amina shows it to Patrick. He stares, walks silently, leads her to his home. On his wall, a framed photo of the same man. My father, he says quietly. David Kalonji. Amina's knees buckle. They are half-siblings. At first, the news stuns Patrick's family. Then, slowly, doors open. Amina is welcomed by cousins, aunts, and uncles who share stories of David. How he refused to flee Congo when others did. How he played the flute and quoted Mandela. How he spoke of a woman he loved but lost. An uncle in Luanda, Angola, invites them to a family celebration. Amina flies with Patrick. There, surrounded by new cousins, she hears more stories, eats muamba and stew, and dances until dawn. Then, to Nairobi, Kenya, where another cousin is a filmmaker. He shows them rare footage of David at a conference in 1984. Hearing his voice breaks Amina. Back in Kinshasa, Patrick takes Amina to their father's grave. She kneels. Places the letters beside his tombstone. I found you, she whispers. Silence. Then peace. Later, they walk along the Congo River. The breeze feels like a blessing. In chasing her past, Amina found her future. Through letters never sent and stories nearly lost, she uncovered not just who her father was, but who she was meant to become. Not every story ends in romance. Some stories begin with truth. Some stories begin with a letter. What if you found a letter from the past? Who would you hope it was from? Would you cross oceans to uncover your truth? Tell us in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Life Unwritten for more powerful stories of healing, identity, and legacy. Tag someone who needs to hear this. And remember, the story isn't over until it's told. Thank you for watching Life Unwritten.